Hey, what's up guys? It's Nick from YouTube. Today I'm going to be showing you an instructional video on how to fully disassemble, service, and clean your Velocity Junior. This pertains to the Velocity hoppers also, so anybody who's new to the sport or has never really torn into that hopper, today I'm going to show you how. What you're basically going to need is a Phillips screwdriver, some Q-tips, well it's preference, I like to use Q-tips just to get in the small crevices, some plastic cleaner or plexus, which is normally I use for lens cleaning, but it's a plastic spray, so it'll work just fine. And some paper towels or chamois cloth or something to that effect, an old rag, whatever you have, as long as it's clean. This is a pretty much brand new in-box Velocity Junior. I've used it once, I think, on the field. So I keep the box. Keep the box packaging for when you go to sell it, you get more money. It looks newer. So this is basically it. You get the Velocity Junior, and I cleaned it once before. I'm going to clean it again just to show you. When you get your box, if you get it brand new, you usually have a pretty good manual. It's not colored, but it has a pretty good diagram in here on how to fully disassemble and troubleshooting and all the stuff you need. Sometimes you just need a little bit more of a visual aid, so that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. Basically, what I like to do to start off is I like to take the battery door screw out, which is the first screw above the battery door. Now, all the screws except for one are on the right side of the hopper. I don't exactly know why they are, but that's just how it is. So I always like to take out the battery door screw. Now you can use, some people like to use the electric screwdrivers. Personally, I don't, just because I wouldn't like to take a chance of stripping out a screw or cracking the shell or whatever. Call me old-fashioned. That's just the way I like to do it. I like to do things by hand. Give it the personal touch. So I just like to take out the battery door, and there's the battery screw. And I'm going to show you the difference between the battery door screw and the other screws, just for people who don't know, so you don't get confused. And I just like to take the batteries out, just a standard 2-battery 9-volt harness, and just put these aside. And I always like to work on a clean workstation. You have a nice clean towel, that way things don't roll, and you can keep things in one place and you don't lose them. At this point, you pull out your foam. I always suggest you keep this. This keeps the batteries from rattling around in there. It comes with the Velocity Junior already in the battery door when you first buy it. So you take that screw out. Now, I just like to go in order around the loader, and if you can pan over here, please, camera person, thank you. I like to take out the long screw. Now you're gonna notice, if you can zoom in with, you know how to zoom in. Is it zooming in? Okay, well, can you come closer, please? You notice the difference between these two screws. This screw is the battery door screw. Now, if you notice, this screw is a lot finer threaded. And then this is the screw that would go into the plastic. This screw is a lot wider thread, almost like what you'd see in, say, a screw that would go into wood. This is close up. As you can see the difference. This is the battery door, and this is the normal shell screw. As if you can see in here, in the Velocity Junior hopper, there is, and I believe this is on the Velocity also. There is, if you can see, there's a metal threading inside of the battery door. If you notice, there is not any kind of metal threading inside of the regular screws that goes in the shell, which would be this screw right here. If you try to put this into this screw hole right here, it will not fit. It'll strip the hole out, and you're going to be out $30 and have to buy yourself a new shell. So just be very careful and keep that in mind. You always, do not confuse the screws here. All right, next up, you just want to keep continuing to disassemble the hopper. Nice and gentle, don't force anything if it's not coming out, clean it and wipe it out with the thing and try it again. You just pull these out, and another thing that's different, the only other difference between the screws here is these two small screws on either side. This is the only other screw that is on the left side of the hopper. These are the two small screws. They hold basically what I call the guts, or the board, and the raceway, the catch cup, whatever you want to call it, all in there. So, you need to take these out before you begin to disassemble your hopper. So I like to just take these out and set them aside, and these are the only other different screws besides the battery door screw from these. And these are pretty simple to get. It only takes a couple turns to get these out. There is one screw back here, and if you have the lid closed, it's almost hidden right there. So if it doesn't come apart, check, make sure you got that screw out, because I do that. I still do that sometimes. Still forget it's there. Just go ahead and take that screw out of there. Just take it right out, and and you can begin to disassemble your hopper as soon as you get the other screw on the other side out. I just want to be careful of rolling screw of your stuff that's being lost. You have another screw right here above the feed neck. There are 7 screws in total on the Velocity Junior. I believe it's the same number on the Velocity also. So I'm going to be nice and gentle here. I know I'm slipping, but I'm not putting a lot of pressure on the screw. Just go ahead and pull this out. And then you have the shell starts to come apart. Finally you have the last screw, the only screw on the left side of the hopper. And you just want to go ahead and remove that. Alright, now that we have all the screws out of the hopper, you can begin to disassemble. Personally, what I like to do, if you can pan out a little bit, please, thank you. Personally, what I like to do is I like to take the side without the guts out first. So that, in this case, it would be the right-hand side. So you're going to just want to very lightly just kind of wiggle this right off, okay? And if you notice on the right-hand side, the only component on the right-hand side is a little spring. That is the lid spring. That will come out. I don't really want to take it out because I've lost these before, but if you lose that, you can buy a new one, but it's a pain in the butt, so I suggest you try to, be very conscious of keeping it in where it's supposed to be. And so I'm just going to go ahead and set that aside. Now you just simply just pull your lid right out, not even an issue. And now what you're going to do is don't try to pull it out from back here. Now, you want to pull it out, you want to lightly pull it from the feed neck, because if you pull it out from back here, you notice the buttons are there. So you're gonna rip the buttons off, you don't want to do that. So always pull it out from right here, and just give it, just loosen it right away from it, and it should come right off. Now you have your 2 parts of your shell taken apart. What I like to do is take the plexus, or your plastic cleaner, whatever you're using, give it a little light spray, just one little, maybe it'll do. Like so. Take your paper towels and give it a good wipe out. And we'll get to the battery compartment in a minute, but I just like to get the main part of the shell cleaned out. And get it nice and clean. Because, no one likes broken paint, and paintballs are very sensitive, so you want to keep your hopper clean. Just, in general, keep your gear clean, because the better you treat your gear, the better it's going to treat you. So, that's my philosophy. So I just like to give it a nice wipe out. You see how nice that looks. I'm going to do the same on the other part of the shell. And, there we go. So that's nice and cleaned out. Now, if you want, if you have paint into the crevices, like over here with the battery door side, you just take your Q-tip and you lightly kind of give it a little bit of a cleaning, and just get that out and give it a nice cleaning. And now that these are clean, what you can proceed to do, once you make sure it's nice and dried and wiped out, is you can proceed to clean out your catch cup. Now, I don't like to use the same thing. I don't like to use the glass cleaner on the catch cup, just because I don't like it to get under the paddles. So what I do is I take the paper towel and I stick my finger and I just kind of move the blade around. It's not going to damage your motor, so don't worry about it. And just give it a nice clean out. Now, this is clean, but normally there would be paint in there, so you just want to take a squeegee or a fuzzy, whatever you want to call it, and just lightly stick it out of there and kind of get it nice and clean. Now that your hopper is completely cleaned, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take the left side of your hopper and the left side of your shell, and you're going to want to take the cords and stick them into this little slot. If you can see the slot right there, that's where the cords go to get to the battery compartment. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to very lightly want to just kind of finagle this back in there, kind of just stick it in there until it fits in. Sometimes it takes a second. You kind of just got to work with it. There you go. And now that that's in, you're going to generally want this to be nice. You want the black button to be nice and flush with the shell. So you don't force it, but if it's a little snug, kind of wiggle it in there and just work it in until it's nice and flush. Okay. Now that we have that fully assembled, that side assembled, what you're going to do is I always like to put the lid back on this side. So I'm going to take the lid and I'm going to stick the little spring back in this little hole here, like so. Okay, sometimes it takes a second because the hole is really small. Alright, there we go. Now that that's back, and what I like to do, take the 2 parts and just simply take the lid up and stick them back together. So now that the hopper is reassembled, close the lid and it'll keep it together for you while you reassemble. Now, I like to do is I like to take one of the plastic screws and put it in the very top screw port on the right side and just screw that back in. And that should keep your hopper together pretty well. Now all you do is you reassemble. You put your screws back in, put your batteries back in, and there you go. This is Nick from YouTube. Hope this helped.